Hey guys, welcome back to the Skyward Sword video walkthrough, and this is chapter 16, where we will be covering the entire Song of the Hero quest. I originally had this broken up into 4 chapters, and I realized that all 4 of them would have been the shortest chapter in the game, so I decided to do a little combination, and this ended up being the longest chapter of the game, running close to 2 hours. Anyway, you could do the Song of the Hero in any order pretty much. You could go to the Lanayru region, you could go to the Eldin region, or the Ferren region. The Ferren region, that was the first area we went to for the first set of 3 dungeons. It was also the first area we went to for the next set of 3 dungeons. So now that we're going to 3 areas once again, yeah, I figured it makes sense. So I think most gamers will naturally go to the Ferren region first. So once you land in Ferren, we noticed that something seemed off. We couldn't land in some of the destinations. Once we arrive here at the sealed grounds, we find the Imprisoned is escaping yet again. I know some people, by the time the 3rd time happened, they started thinking that this boss battle with the Imprisoned has gotten a little tedious. There's been changes from the 1st time to the 2nd time, and now there's also changes in the 3rd battle with the Imprisoned. But I know a lot of people, it's been a common complaint, I guess, is that it's almost like a rehashing or a reusing of the same boss. So instead of getting something different, we pretty much got the same boss, except he has a new phase, pretty much. That's pretty much what this really is, the 3rd phase with the Imprisoned. During the 2nd phase, he grew out some arms, and it gave him the ability to basically climb up the side of the wall. Furthermore, his steps were a little more powerful because there was a larger radius of that red beam that he sends out. This time around, he still has his arms, but he also has a gigantic tail behind him. This comes into effect in a couple of ways. For one, when you're trailing behind him, the tail gets in your way, but that's really not that big of an issue. In just a moment, we'll find that the Imprisoned has a brand new ability as well, and we'll talk about that in, well, just a bit. Once again, there's multiple ways you can fight the Imprisoned. You could jump down from the higher ledge onto his head directly and try to hit the spike on his head that way. Alternatively, you can just hit off his 8 toes on his foot and knock him down, and just go ahead and slash away at the spike like that. There's multiple options. It's really up to you. I'm just gonna use the toe method, at least for this first phase. If you have the upgraded Sacred Bow, 1 charged arrow will knock out one of its toes. So I guess that's more of a conservative, a safer method. You can sort of just keep your distance and just basically aim at his toes with your Sacred Bow. It works. There's nothing wrong with it. I would suggest that if you don't want to get too close to him. Although, doing what I just did right there, staying close to him and simultaneously using your bow, that's probably not the best idea. So using whatever method you like, use Groose, the Groosinator, the catapult, whenever you can, but knock him down and then deliver 3 slashes to his spike at the top of his head. Just like before, the spike will grow out of the Imprisoned's head, except this time, oh my goodness, the thing is flying. It just starts like floating in the air. I can imagine the Imprisoned's just like, alright, the hell with this. Every time I try walking up this thing, my toes get slashed. Forget it, I'm flying. Luckily, this phase is actually easier than the other phases, because it's just 1 hit with a bomb from the Groosinator, and the Imprisoned just goes tumbling down to the ground. So at that point, you could just drop down to the bottom level, just like before, and slash away and hit the spike on its head. It's really quite simple. In fact, this is, in general, I think the third battle with the Imprisoned is actually easier than the second battle. Granted, the first battle is clearly the easiest, at least in my opinion. But so we've now hit the spike 6 times, so as the formula goes, we need to hit it 3 more times. But oh no, look what happened. Groose has lost access to his bombs, and now the Imprisoned is going to start floating upwards, and we don't have a bomb to catapult towards the Imprisoned. Uh-oh, what to do? Either way, Groose calls towards you, tells you to come on over. You know, maybe he has some brilliant idea to fix the dilemma they're in. Well, it turns out he does. I like how he's just casually just standing right there. But he has this idea of, why don't you get on the catapult and we'll shoot Link over to the Imprisoned. So you want to do just that, and you want to basically aim directly for the seal on its head. Just land on top of him and deliver 3 sword slashes, and that's pretty much going to defeat the Imprisoned. Just like before, you gotta run on over to the sealed spike, deliver a skyward strike, and then you gotta sort of angle, do some sword slashes. It's a little more elaborate this time, but it's pretty much the same process. So go ahead and do some directional sword slashes, and once again, you get another one of those epic scenes to seal the Imprisoned. Now, if you are just doing the main quest and not doing all the side quests, this is it. You will not have to fight the Imprisoned again. Thankfully, in some cases, I don't know. I enjoy the Imprisoned. I think they could have done more. Sort of had that like Shadow of the Colossus feel to him, because he's this like gigantic, epic boss. But they could have done more. I really think. I think it's good for the Zelda series, but in general, for fighting these gigantic monsters, I think, well, it fell short to some boss battles I've seen from other video games, Shadow of the Colossus being one of them. Anyway, run on over and enter the sealed temple to follow behind Groose and the old woman. So Groose has the idea of, if you want to get to the Faron Woods, we'll use the Groosinator and he'll fling you into the Faron Woods. This is nothing unusual for the Zelda series. I mean, we've sort of had this idea with Twilight Princess when we used the cannon to get into the Garuda Valley, as well as the City in the Sky, and even a catapult itself. We saw those like in a miniature form in Phantom Hourglass when we used the hammer in later in the game. But either way, jump onto the catapult. Groose will send you flying into the Faron Woods, and we'll continue on in the next video. So I'll see you guys there.